It's one of the great political rituals Americans love. They've come to Boston from all over the country to take part in crowning the Democratic nominee for president in the upcoming election. On this 27th of July, 2004, it is John Kerry who will carry the torch. All the stars of the Democratic Party are there. Former Presidents Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter. Former Vice President Al Gore. This time, a young, virtually unknown politician with hopes for the U.S. Senate is to give the closing speech. His name is unusual and hard to remember. Barack Obama, a state senator from Illinois. The state of Lincoln, he never fails to add. A symbolic reference and a hint of his emerging persona.
My presence on this stage is pretty unlikely. My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya. He grew up herding goats, but my grandfather had larger dreams for his son. Through hard work and perseverance, my father got a scholarship to study in a magical place, America.
A father who was a goat herder in a small village in Kenya, a foreigner from the other side of the world. Hard to beat this incarnation of the American dream.
There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
America, yes, the great America. In the hall, people are thinking and saying, this young man will go far. With his wife, Michelle, he represents the future, a post-racial America, an America reconciled.
Thank you.
In the stands, a senator from New York, Hilary Clinton, is thinking, one day this may help her accede to the White House.
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
She does not suspect that the war has just begun. Look at him today. In 2016, his hair is almost white. Wrinkles surround his smile. Power is wearing. It's true. For as we know, it's Obama, not Hillary, who has been in the Oval Office for 8 years. Obama, not Hillary, who is nearing the end of 2 terms as president.
Careful now. Did you just hit the governor? Did you just hit the governor of Utah? Hello.
Eight years in the White House. Yes, power is wearing, but Obama still has that same presence, the allure, the balletic grace.
Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go.
Even if his legacy is doubtless mixed, there have been more economic than international success. But he was the first black president, and that is major. As he prepares to leave the White House, he has another mission: fight for Hillary Clinton and see her installed in his place in the Oval Office. An irony of history, or perhaps of the extraordinary story of 2 families, 2 clans, 2 couples.
Thank you all. God bless you. And may God bless America.
The Clintons and the Obamas, a story of rivalries, of betrayals and reconciliations, and above all, of intense ambitions.
This is what my presidency was about.
And yet they are not scions of the Washington political aristocracy like the Roosevelts, the Kennedys, or more recently, the Bushes.
Let's seize this moment to start anew, to carry the dream forward.
All four are from modest families. Bill and Obama were raised in the absence of their fathers. Michelle and Hilary worked hard to succeed. All four had brilliant academic careers at elite universities, Yale and Harvard, made possible by grants. And all four believe in politics. They are convinced they can change the world and that they are the best ones to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President-elect, William Jefferson Clinton.
Bill was the first. He had been the youngest governor in the country. And in 1993, he also became one of the youngest presidents at 46. Barack Obama entered the White House in 2009 at 47. In their 40s, impatient, modern, at times insolent, they both occasionally threw off protocol. With 16 years between their terms, both Clinton and Obama were determined to show that they had not forgotten their humble origins or the voters who had brought them to power, many of whom were minorities. They shared the same priorities: health, education, employment. Bill Clinton also shook up tradition another way, because there's no Bill without Hilary. It wasn't just a man, but a couple who reigned at the White House.
I ask you to join me and the president in working...
She is his anchor, his inspiration, his top advisor, his alter ego.
Then divides us.
I always say that my slogan might well be buy one, get one free, because it's an unusual and probably unprecedented personal and political partnership. Yeah, I finished a game at Oxford with a mild concussion once.
Buy one, get one free. 2 Clintons for the price of 1. 2 poles of 1 generator. And it did make sparks. Because Hilary had no intention of being a traditional First Lady, just taking care of receptions and the color of the curtains. She considered that she was a little bit the president, too. At the White House, she was bossy, sometimes brittle, and present at strategic meetings along with cabinet secretaries and advisors.
9 months ago, when I asked
Bill even handed her the job of reforming the healthcare system.
to send their thoughts about the healthcare system and the need for reform,
I didn't know much about this when my husband asked me to start working on it, and I really did not believe that the kinds of life decisions that we've heard about, whether to have a child, where to go to work, whether you can be with your daughter, would be affected by health insurance.
No First Lady before her has been as highly educated. No previous First Lady had hands-on activism experience. No other before her had years as a brilliant lawyer in one of the country's top law firms. No one before her. But after Hilary, there would be Michelle. But a first lady who puts herself on the same level as the president doesn't always go down well, especially in the Republican camp. Some also remember bitterly that as a young lawyer, Hillary had worked on the Watergate Commission, actively contributing to the disgrace and resignation of Republican President Richard Nixon. To ultra-conservatives, the Clintons were dangerous leftists, usurpers who should be evicted from the White House immediately, first by accusing them of fraud, a drawn-out process that proved futile. The sex card was more successful. Bill was an inveterate womanizer, and his affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky allowed his adversaries to set the perfect trap.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Of course he was lying. He was lying to Hillary, who did not yet know it. And he was lying under oath to a federal judge. In the United States, that is called perjury, and it can lead to impeachment. But it was Hillary, the betrayed wife, who was his strongest supporter.
Is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Hillary is convincing, and Bill finishes his term. In fact, when they left the White House, the Clintons were at the peak of their popularity. 70% of Americans said they liked Hillary for her courage, her dignity, and her statesmanship. In private, of course, she unleashed the full force of her fury on Bill. But she swallowed her pain and saved her family, her marriage, and her ambitions. Because long ago, they had made a deal. They would help each other mutually achieve power, each in their turn. Bill had promised, when we leave the White House, I will give you the next 20 years. Now the roles were reversed. It was Hillary's turn. The first step would be the Senate.
You know, this is an interesting time for me. It's the first time since 1974 they've had an election when I haven't been on the ballot somewhere. My party's got a new leader, my family has a new candidate, and I'm sort of the surrogate in chief.
The first step in November 2000 is a success. Hillary is elected senator from New York for 6 years.
It has been a wonderful experience to be in this campaign. And I have really appreciated my husband's advice and his counsel and his support.
Bill really did give his all for the election of his wife.
Welcome. Come on up here. Do you solemnly
He would be her top advisor.
support and defend the Constitution of the United States? Congratulations.
And Hillary would need him. In the very masculine, even macho universe of the Senate, the former First Lady is a disturbance. Because she's a woman, yes, but also because she's the woman that she is. Because she's ambitious and she doesn't hide it. She has to prove she's not just Bill's wife, she's Hillary Clinton. So she works hard, does her homework, her research. Her years in the White House have taught her to be more flexible, more diplomatic. She even forms relations with the right, with certain conservative Republicans, and further to the left with the Young Turks of the Democratic Party. And among these Young Turks is Barack Obama, who arrives in 2005 on the Democratic side of the aisle.
How are you?
This is his first experience in Washington, and he is unfamiliar with the ins and outs of Capitol Hill. But the young Obama is not so naive. Washington may be new to him, but he's been around the political bloc for quite some time. As a student at Harvard, he was already agitating against racial discrimination.
But engaging us in a conversation. Every generation, we have an obligation to work on behalf of the next generation. We've got to work to make their lives better.
As he searched for himself, Obama turned away from a law career to become a social worker in the tough neighborhoods of Chicago's South Side. Everything changed when he met Michelle Robinson. A descendant of slaves, Michelle was a true African American. She brought the young Obama discipline, a bit like Hilary did for Bill. She gave him direction and anchored him in the black community of Chicago. With Michelle, Obama began a rapid ascension, was elected to the Illinois State Senate, and then to the U.S. Senate. In the Senate, Hilary and Obama are always together, a real honeymoon. Hilary is now looking at the 2008 presidential election, and she's counting on an alliance with the brilliant and popular young senator. She takes him under her wing, guides him, and lets him in on the secret workings of Capitol Hill.
Without any further statement,
they are even seen together making the same gestures on the Senate floor.
Publicly, so the American people have no idea where this money's going.
The Clintons and the Obamas then seem to be the best of friends. They are even seen together at a meeting of the NAACP.
Thank you all very much.
A rite of passage for any ambitious Democrat. The idyll lasts for 2 years. For 2 years, Obama follows diligently in Hillary's footsteps. He surrounds himself with a plethora of advisors, many from the Clinton galaxy.
As long as it takes to help citizens rebuild their communities and their lives.
Obama undertakes a series of official visits to the Middle East, to Asia, to Africa. In Kenya, his father's homeland, he is received like a rock star. His fame grows with each passing day, and increasingly people are betting on him for the presidency. For the Clintons, everything is set for the election. Bill has put the Democratic Party on notice. Everyone behind Hilary. When suddenly,
So even in the midst of the enormous challenges we face today, I have great faith and hope about the future because I believe in you. And that's why I want to tell you first that I'll be filing papers today to create a presidential exploratory committee.
What Barack Obama is announcing is nothing less than his surprise run for president. To Hilary, it is a stab in the back, an unmitigated betrayal. Her protege did not even have the courtesy to tell her. So now she must announce her own candidacy to cut short his head start. 4 days later, she announces by posting a video put together quickly in her living room.
So let the conversation begin. I have a feeling it's going to be very interesting.
War is declared. A few days later in Springfield, Abraham Lincoln's hometown, Barack Obama confirms his candidacy.
I stand before you today to announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America. You guys are still chanting back there. Now listen,
He still stammers a bit, it's true. But the staging is perfect. his lanky figure, his black coat. It all incontestably evokes Lincoln.
We've been told that our crises are somebody else's fault. We're distracted from our real failures and told to blame the other party, or gay people, or immigrants. It's time to turn the page, right here and right now.
At first, Michelle is very reticent about diving into such an endeavor. She knows it will mean a lot of sacrifices, but she also knows that Barack has all the qualities to succeed. Because Americans want to turn the page on the Bush years. After the September 11th attacks, America no longer feels invincible, protected from the rest of the world by its two oceans. America suddenly feels very vulnerable. The endless wars in Afghanistan and Iraq have left the country deeply divided. And for what? 4 years later, there was still chaos in the Middle East. The number of dead and injured keep mounting, and no one knows how to get out. Like 77 other senators, Hillary Clinton has also voted for the war in Iraq. Out of patriotism, a sense of duty.
I want the men and women in our armed forces to know that if they should be called upon to act against Iraq, our country will stand resolutely behind them.
The Bush administration has lied by stating there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And Hillary Clinton, like the others, had been fooled. For Obama, it was simpler. He wasn't a senator yet, so he did not have to vote on the war. Still, he had long and very clearly opposed the war, which gave him a considerable advantage against Hillary in the primaries.
In all circumstances, and when I look out over this crowd today, I know there is no shortage of patriots or patriotism. What I do oppose is a dumb war. When I am the Democratic Party nominee, my opponent won't be able to say that I voted for the war in Iraq because I didn't. Won't be able to say that I gave George Bush the benefit of the doubt on Iran because I haven't.
Bill is enraged. If anyone attacks his wife, his fury has no limit. In private, he says, Obama, a few years ago, this guy would have been serving us coffee. Michelle would never forgive them for that remark. She concludes that the Clintons have no morals. Hillary is sure she'll win. Impossible to imagine this inexperienced upstart senator supplanting the presidential duo. All of their vast network is in overdrive. Democratic establishment support is locked in. But it is exactly this sense of inevitability that annoys people. The Clintons again. Some Americans have had enough. Obama is moving extremely fast and revolutionizing campaign tactics. He uses the internet to search out militant volunteers, reach young people and poorer people, and it works. The internet unleashes militants' power. It allows the campaign to find sympathizers, neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street, and mobilize them. It also allows him to target a strategic group, the abstentionists. In California, the Obama campaign is compared to a startup, starting with nothing, with just an idea, a look, a slogan. Obama is creating a huge buzz. Barack Obama hasn't got the powerful donors that the Clintons have lined up around Hillary, but he is able to amass a war chest of around $700 million, mostly from very small donations, as low as $5. To catch up, Hillary Clinton is forced to take out several $million in bank loans. An American presidential election is always the ordeal of a lifetime. An endless marathon with no downtime. The planes, the buses, the cars, the trains, the hotels. Every day shaking thousands of hands, giving dozens of interviews, making speeches. And it means taking hits from your opponent, sometimes very nasty hits. It means watching your life dissected in public. And putting a brave face on it, never flagging, and never giving in to anger, for months. And if you win the primary, you get 2 more years of it. 3rd of January, 2008. Iowa is the first Democratic primary state. Hillary is the favorite. She loses. Obama beats her by 8 points. The Clinton camp is stunned. 3 days later will be New Hampshire.
My question to you is simply this. What can you say to the voters of New Hampshire where they seem to like Barack Obama more?
Well, that hurts my feelings.
I'm sorry, Senator. I'm sorry.
He's very likable. I agree with that. I don't think I'm that bad.
You're likable enough.
Thank
Hillary,
you so much.
Hillary doesn't reply, but the next day, she loses her composure.
I have so many opportunities from this country. I just don't want to see us fall backwards. You know, so, you know, this is very personal for me. It's not just political, it's not just public. I see what's happening, and we have to reverse it.
In the end, Hillary wins New Hampshire. Her confidential remark had been sincere. To her, it really is a personal affair, a lifelong engagement. And as she later admitted, a desire not to disappoint her mother, who she so admired.
Thank you.
Initially shocked, Barack Obama finds a riposte.
When we've been told we're not ready, or that we shouldn't try, or that we can't, generations of Americans have responded with a simple creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can win this campaign. We can change America. The message is powerful. Obama may have lost New Hampshire, but he's touched America at its heart.
Yes, we can.
And he's already speaking as president.
Trail towards freedom through the darkest of nights. Yes, we can.
Hillary wins Michigan, then Nevada. On the 26th of January, they meet in South Carolina.
Wait, no, Hillary, you just spoke.
I did not say anything about Ronald Reagan. You said two things. You talked about admiring Ronald Reagan, and you talked about the ideas of the Republicans. I didn't talk about Ronald Reagan.
While I was working on those streets, watching those folks see their jobs shipped overseas, you were a corporate lawyer sitting on the board of Walmart. I was fighting these fights. I was fighting these fights.
A real knockout punch. Obama clobbers Hillary, winning by 28 points. The Clinton camp puts on a forced good face, but they are panicking. The staff is immediately reorganized, and the search for new funds is on.
Yes, she'd be a great president.
Bill is on every front, rushing from one state to another, also shaking thousands of hands. One day he remarks to a journalist, "You know, Jesse Jackson, he also won in South Carolina in 1984 and in 1988. The message is clear. Pastor Jesse Jackson, faithful consort of Martin Luther King, had won in South Carolina but had nevertheless lost the Democratic primary. What Bill was inferring was that a black candidate couldn't get elected in a majority white country. Major gaffe. The black community drops the Clintons. Meanwhile, Michelle is on the trail, giving her all. As the campaign goes on, she becomes more and more comfortable addressing the crowds and is an increasingly effective speaker. And she attracts the biggest names from show business, the media, and politics.
I see a time where we will have a united people of the United States, and that is why I support Barack Obama.
It is a call to band together, all of us, to elect the next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Oprah Winfrey, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro, Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, Scarlett Johansson. And among the famous names, there is one that particularly stings the Clintons, Senator Ted Kennedy, brother of the mythical slain president, John F. Kennedy.
I'll support the candidate who inspires me, who inspires all of us, who can lift our vision and summon our hopes and renew our belief that our country's best days are still to come.
The Kennedy clan, the Democratic royal family, is supporting Obama and dropping the Clintons.
I found that candidate. And I think you have too.
For Bill, this is more than a campaign setback. It's a personal affront, a deep and intimate wound. Bill had decided to go into politics after meeting JFK. It was 1962. He was 16. One of a select group of students to be invited to the White House, he shook President Kennedy's hand and even exchanged a few words with him. It was as though JFK had passed the torch to him. By supporting Obama, the elder senator, now very ill and soon to die, took from Bill Clinton the thing he was most proud of. Bill was not the Kennedys' political heir. Obama was. Caroline Kennedy, daughter of JFK, also supports Obama. For the Clintons, the primaries become a continuing series of disappointments. Hillary and Obama are neck and neck for a while, then the gap widens, and then the campaign gets nasty. Hillary lashes out.
So shame on you, Barack Obama.
Exhausted, she loses her temper repeatedly. When a journalist asks her why she doesn't pull out of the race, she replies,
"We all remember Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in June in California."
What was she trying to say? That she would be the only one left if Obama was assassinated in the middle of the campaign? That she'd like to see him dead? Hillary confuses her wishes with reality, Obama says ironically in an interview with the Washington Post. Two weeks later, on the 7th of June 2008, Hillary Clinton pulls out.
We may have started on separate journeys, but today our paths have merged, and we're all heading toward the same destination, united and more ready than ever. So today, I am standing with Senator Obama to say, yes, we can!
Bill is in torment. Hillary's defeat is his own. Now they need to show they are together. For their first appearance, they have coordinated their colors. Democratic blue.
I am proud to call her a friend, and I know how much we need both Bill and Hillary Clinton as a party and as a country in the months and years to come. They have done so much great work. I don't think it's been 40 years. Maybe for the last couple, But it's amazing how much they got done in 5 years' time. But we need them.
Nothing can stop Obama now. On the 4th of November 2008, he wins the presidential election by 8 points over Republican John McCain. He is the first black president in the history of the United States. On the stage in Chicago, Obama introduces his future vice president, Joe Biden. Why did he not choose Hillary?
Prepared to take the oath, Senator?
I am.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President. All the best wishes.
On the day of the inauguration, the two clans make a display of reconciliation. What no one knows at the time is that after the primaries, Obama and Hillary had a one-on-one meeting without Bill or Michelle, who had not come to terms with the clash of the primaries. One hour in a secret meeting to seal their peace treaty. What Hillary asked of Obama was a partial reimbursement of her campaign debt by the Democratic Party. In exchange, both Clintons would be thoroughly engaged in the Obama campaign. Hillary would not be vice president. Actually, she didn't want the job. But Obama would later offer her Secretary of State, the perfect stepping stone in her political career. That evening, the hatchet was buried. As Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton complements Obama perfectly. Her loyalty is absolute, and her profile ideal for the job. The former First Lady already knows all of the world's major players in its diplomatic idiosyncrasies. The files on her desk are many and heavy. The pullout from Iraq, sanctions against Iran and North Korea, the deployment of 20,000 extra troops to Afghanistan, an intervention in Libya, endless files. She is constantly on the move. And everywhere she goes, she promotes her heartfelt causes: education, health, women's rights. Hillary travels the planet, flying from one capital to another unceasingly. In 4 years, she visits 112 countries. On the 1st of May 2011, she is at Obama's side, tensely watching the Special Forces operation against Osama bin Laden streaming live from Pakistan.
Today, at my direction, after a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden.
Against the advice of the military, Hillary had pushed this very risky commando operation. It succeeds. The improbable couple works, and the president fully shares credit for his victory with Hillary Clinton. A second honeymoon for the Clintons and Obamas? Not quite.
Well, hello, everybody. It is good to see you guys.
Although they avoid any discord, the two couples are not intimate friends. But all four are consummate political animals. They know where their interests lie. For the moment, the two clans need each other. But Hilary is exhausted. She is 65, her health is fragile, and she refuses to slow down. In December 2012, she passes out. It's not the first alert. Too much work, too much travel, she explains. She is diagnosed with a cerebral hemorrhage caused by a concussion, a small blood clot between the cranium and the brain. Very bad timing. She is unable to appear before the House committee investigating Benghazi, where Islamist terrorists have attacked the U.S. Embassy, killing the ambassador and 3 staff. The right accuses Hilary of negligence. Some are even claiming that she's using her health as an excuse not to appear. This time, President Obama rallies behind his Secretary of State, giving her an unhoped-for farewell gift. He organizes a double interview with her on CBS's famed 60 Minutes program. Look at them, side by side, smiling, close, equals before the camera, sitting on identical chairs. Hilary's is even slightly raised to place her at the same height as the president. Obama is bestowing presidential stature upon her. Why do you want to do this interview together, the journalist asks.
I just wanted to have a chance to publicly say thank you, because I think Hilary will go down as one of the finest Secretaries of States we've had.
For 30 minutes, the two former opponents show themselves to be the best of friends. How is this possible, after years of betrayals, mistrust, and bitterness? Well, the two clans had once again made an agreement a few months earlier. It happened in the fall of 2011 at the Andrews Air Force Base golf course. President Obama and ex-President Bill Clinton hadn't spoken in months. No one hears what they are saying, but Bill later says in private that Obama had asked him to campaign for his re-election. Bill Clinton is the star Democrat, the favorite ex-president of 70% of Americans. And Obama really needs him, as his re-election is far from assured.
This is an economy right now that can't find the bottom of bad news.
Obama's first term had indeed been tough. A major economic crisis, 9% unemployment, a majority Republican Congress that blocked all his projects. He had struggled and barely passed his health care reform. And his approval rating was plummeting.
Hey, everybody. Yesterday, I took you away.
Bill had promised to help him. He crisscrossed the country giving speeches until he had no voice left, shook thousands of hands. Essentially, he transferred his popularity to Obama. On one condition, that Obama support Hilary in 2016, when she planned to make her second bid for the White House.
I'm getting ready to do something too. I'm running for president.
Hillary Clinton's announcement of her candidacy inundates the social networks.
I'm getting ready for a lot of things. A lot of things.
This time, it's the campaign clip showing ordinary Americans that sets the tone. She will be the candidate of working Americans, minorities, women, and families. Perfect timing. She has just become a grandmother.
You always grow up and you say, oh, I'm never going to say what my mother said. And then you hear it coming out of your mouth. Well, I kind of hear that now with my daughter when she's talking to Charlotte. And I think, wow, the generation continues. It's all part of what it means to be in a family.
Yet there are no references to the current president, who is laboriously finishing his second term. Yes, it is arguable he owes his re-election to Bill Clinton, who kept his promise and threw himself wholeheartedly into Obama's 2012 campaign.
You must vote and you must re-elect President Barack Obama.
And to Michelle as well, who, after 4 years in the White House, had become more popular than him.
So help you God?
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. Thank you so much.
But the magic had faded.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, we can seemed like an illusion.
Thank you.
Washington is broken, Obama would say. His presidency was struggling. Economically, things had improved. Unemployment was lower every month, finally going below 5%. But in 2014, the Republicans had won a majority in both houses, tying the Obama administration's hands. Congress continually rejected his reforms, from immigration to gun control, despite repeated mass shootings, and even after the massacre of small children in a Connecticut elementary school.
Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
A president made powerless by partisan political games, shedding tears in front of the cameras. Obama seems absent, as though watching himself from afar. On the international front, the successes are limited.
Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about the end of our combat mission in Iraq.
Obama has pulled American troops out of Afghanistan and Iraq. But now an intervention is needed against ISIS in the Middle East. Meanwhile, little by little, Hilary is building her campaign, and she is discreetly differentiating herself from her former rival. She criticizes Obama's lack of vision in foreign policy, points out his errors and vacillations in the Middle East. Astonishing, unbelievable, unsinkable Hillary Clinton. Where on earth does she get this insane energy, this drive? Bill and Hillary. Billary, they used to be called. Two for the price of one, now and forever.
Hillary Rodham Clinton.
But now she has to battle a political UFO.
I have the privilege of introducing to you the most courageous candidate out there.
Bernie Sanders presents himself as a socialist and promises a revolution against the Washington establishment.
I appreciate all of you being here, and I appreciate the work that you are going to do to elect Bernie Sanders as president.
Now that she has won the primary, she will take on the most improbable Republican candidate, Donald Trump, the billionaire populist with an endless supply of invective, insults, and ridiculous promises.
She cannot put the deal away. You know, she makes that one speech a week. She'll get up, reads the teleprompter. She goes north and south, east and west. We all love what's happening to our country, but we don't love what's happening to our country.
When we hear a candidate for president call for rounding up 12 million immigrants, banning all Muslims from entering the United States, when he embraces torture, that doesn't make him strong, it makes him wrong.
But this time, the Clintons are no longer alone.
I want those of you who've been with me from the beginning of this incredible journey to be the first to know that I'm with her. I am fired up, and I cannot wait to get out there and campaign for Hillary.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother, my hero, and our next president, Hillary Clinton.
There are four of them. Four Democrats, the Clintons and the Obamas, finally united for the same goal. United by their common and rarefied experience of the White House. United by their ordeals, their suffering. United by their familiarity with power, and even by the clashes that have wounded them. Definitely united by strength, strong ambition, and uncommon energy that has incontestably made its mark on history.
Odisseia, a vida em 4K.